Hello and thank you for joining us on the midweek edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Benga Oreshegun. Today on the program, Senator Natasha formally files petition against Senate President as Akpabio denies sexually harassing her. Drop in food prices excites Lagos traders and consumers as fuel price war rages, with NNPCL matching Dangote's 860 naira per litre. And later on the show, in our midweek special, Babajide Kolade Otitoju looks at the contributions of the Nigerian Army to improved security in Kaduna and neighboring states. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Asukwa James. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. The drama between Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio has gotten more intense. The senator representing Kogi Central has formally filed a petition against Senator Akpabio over allegations of sexual harassment. The petition was immediately referred to the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Code of Conduct for deliberation. Meanwhile, Senator Akpabio has dismissed the allegation, insisting that he has never harassed a woman. Okay, PK, looking at this now that Senator Natasha has formally filed a petition against the Senate President, what should we expect?
Well, I think that from proceedings stemming from the Senate sitting today, the petition that Senator Natasha filed amounts to a waste of time.
How?
Yes, and it contradicts Order 40 subsection 4 of the Senate rules, which says that no senator may present to the Senate a petition signed by him or herself. So since the petition was signed by her, it will not be entertained by the committee. The chairman of the committee has already stated that. That is not all. Senate Order 40, subsection 4 says, no senator may present a petition signed by himself. Order 40 section 7 says petitions must follow Senate rules. And it also says that the Senate is forbidden from entertaining petitions which are before competent courts of law. Natasha announced that she was going to court. There is a media aide of the Senate President that said some unprintable things about Natasha. Natasha decided to sue the Senate President for what an aide to him wrote on Facebook. Yes. Some people are excited about the matter. But it's not the Senate President that libeled her, that slandered her. It's the Senate President's aide. I hear some people who are not lawyers anyway saying, oh, there is what is called vicarious liability. If you are my staff now and you decided to rape a woman, am I going to be liable?
No.
Does vicarious liability apply in all situations? If you took a life now as my aide, or as Ukwa's aide, am I going to lose my life? Will you not carry your cross by yourself?
Sure.
So that is the case that she filed. It was even in her claims, she said that the aide of the Senate President wrote this, wrote that. So what I know that the lawyers to Akpabio will do is that once they appear in court, they will get the Senate President's name struck out. Because it's not the Senate President who has committed the offense. I work here at TVC. If I commit a traffic offense now, are you going to say that Victoria Ajayi, our CEO, will be liable? I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't know what's wrong with us now as a people. That people can't even ask pertinent questions. Now, Akpabio said, no, I've never harassed any woman, this and that. Akpabio said that on the floor today. We don't know whether he's saying the truth
or not.
We don't know whether indeed she harassed Natasha. In my view, this matter will be decided by the courts. I don't even think that the way it is, the Senate should decide on whether Akpabio actually harassed her. The courts, in my view, stand a much better chance of adjudicating on this matter in a dispassionate way than maybe the Senate. So let Senator Natasha take the evidence, the facts that she has before a competent court of law. Because even now, they've said that they will not entertain it. So what is the point? One, because it breaches the manner in which she filed it breaches the Senate rules. And they are not going to bend the Senate rules because of her.
Now, back to that part, before we go to the denial. Is it that Senator Natasha is not aware of the Senate rule?
I don't know. You see, the thing is, the Senate allows members to sit anywhere, but you cannot contribute on the floor of the Senate except to sit where you had been assigned. People can sit anywhere. Maybe, oh, this is my friend, this is so that we can be gisting. In the Senate, you cannot chew gum. You can't even drink water during proceedings.
You can't even dress anyhow.
There are rules that they must follow. And they won't bend their rules for anyone. I want to believe that before you file a petition, you must first look at your rule book.
Your rule book.
What I'm going to do, will it be in line with the stipulations in the rule book? You must get that one right. You can't make it so easy for the Senate President and others to brush aside your effort. Do you know how long it probably took to write that petition? Only for it to be rendered a nullity
because of an error?
Because you did not know.
Because you did not know.
Because this ignorance cannot be permitted.
Ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Yes, you cannot, and you cannot cite ignorance even in this case. That, oh, sorry, I didn't know. Let the petition fly. They are not going to listen, because the day you allow that, others
you set a precedent.
It's just like journalists hang out. There was a minister in the Buhari regime who kept piling pressure that he wanted to sit with us on this program. We said no, only journalists can sit with us. He called our CEO and said, please get Jide to allow me to sit with them. I said, the day I bring him, other politicians will say I will bring them, and I will not be able to stop them. The CEO said, even if it's just once. I said, no, sir.
The rule is
I stood my ground. I stood my ground. I was prepared for whatever will happen. I said, no, sir. And we turned him down. We started going to we have other programs on TVC. He started going to appear in others. No problem. If we said this is purely for journalists, why should the non-journalists come and sit with us? If the Senate has rules, then senators must obey the rules. We don't want to go into whether Akpabio did it, or whether he's incapable of doing it, or whether, this person is a routine blackmailer. As some people don't like her, they've been saying that. I even saw a senator who was abusing her in a very, very undignified manner. Uncouth language by a senator against another senator because of what has happened. What we want to see is closure to this matter. Whichever way that closure will come, it has to come so that the embarrassment that it is to Nigeria.
And the Senate as an institution.
Yes. It's an embarrassment. Some people are saying the president should step in. Why should the president step in? Must he step in
on every issue?
On every issue.
No, this is even another arm of government.
So now if you have your way, you will say president should go and do the work of NJC. No, now, come on. What kind of suggestions do Nigerians make?
Okay, Asoko, the Senate President has now publicly denied this allegation. Now, is the denial enough, or should there still be a thorough investigation into this matter?
No, that is where the courts, come in, and thankfully, she actually brought the petition, and just like Wike has said, there are already loopholes in the process, the process of even bringing the petition already. And like this president of the Senate said this afternoon or this morning, he was saying that, well, if the matter is in court, then he doesn't have anything to say. Let us meet at
That was the
court.
last point.
You understand? Because he also said that he had daughters, four beautiful daughters. He was well brought up, and he had to go through that history for him to just say, well, I don't want to say so much because this matter is in court. That is where we'll now know who is lying and who is not lying. Because even if we stay here and begin to, the only thing we'll be doing will just be mere allegation left, right, center. So the best thing is when we now, of course, is when they go to court. Okay, madam, you did this, you said this. Okay, how did it happen?
Evidence?
Bring
Where are your witnesses?
You
But
understand?
I've heard comments like it is difficult to prove sexual harassment issue.
Well, it
is difficult to
depends.
prove.
It depends.
So in this case now,
We don't know what evidence she
We
has.
don't know.
Okay, we don't know what
We don't know, so
exactly.
let's not
And
go
so
there.
for the Senate President to say, let's meet in court, maybe he also has his own defense.
Yes,
So
his witnesses.
So he's also going to bring his witnesses or even present himself. Because it's his character that is now at stake.
Yes.
You
talking
understand?
about character, the Senate President has denied. Should the Senate President file for defamation on this matter?
No, the wife has taken
The wife has, taken that one.
Because as far as the wife is concerned, even the children are traumatized
By this
what
whole
has happened.
scenario.
The shame is going to be shared between the entire family. It's not going to be Akpabio's shame alone. When this sort of thing happens, this is my father. Even in school.
In school.
I will be ashamed. I will be ashamed to move around freely, because your mates will taunt you with what is going on in the life of your father.
The new social media.
Yeah, social media.
exactly.
Those children will find it difficult. I remember when was it Arubebe, when that thing happened, the way on social media, the way they terrorized one of his children, So these things, when big people, power people are going through this kind of phase in their lives, their children also partake in the pain, in the agony. This is the truth. That's why I saw the woman, Akpabio's wife, come out. And it's not a new thing. We saw Hillary Clinton stood by her husband.
Yeah, the Monica Lewinsky issue.
Stood by her husband. And she became more powerful politically for that decision. And the people who ganged up against a popular American president, they had midterm election, many of them didn't return. The public punished them. Yes. Go back and check. Those who impeached
The Bill Clinton.
Those who spearheaded the thing, they made sure that many of them didn't come back. So Hillary stood by him. Akpabio's wife
standing by.
Stood by.
She's now standing
the husband.
by the husband.
Somebody says because of the money that they are making and all that. We've seen billionaires divorce one another.
Yeah,
now.
Sure.
Abi?
Sure.
So whatever money Akpabio has, can he compare himself to Bill Gates? Did Bill and Melinda Gates not divorce? So it's not. But people are entitled to their opinions, even if those opinions make absolutely no sense. Time is a gentleman, as I always say. Time always resolves this kind of issues. We will know in the fullness of time who is lying between Natasha, the Kogi senator, and the Senate president. We will certainly know.
But Bike, there's been all sorts of reactions. Ireti Kingibe's reaction. But let's look at Reno Omokiri's reaction to this. He said, Natasha has accused her before, and Does this precedent not weaken Senator Natasha's case?
Just as I said on Sunday, you are not here. The fact that Reno conclusively proved.
Proved?
Yes. Reno conclusively proved that
with the flight tickets,
it didn't
exactly.
happen.
Yes, with everything.
Exactly.
His passport, pictures from the event that he attended abroad on the day he was said to have
allegedly
committed the and Natasha didn't waste time. She deleted all the posts that she made, even the video in which she was cursing Reno and Reno's child. She deleted everything, you know, and the case was settled out of court because Reno wanted to go to court, you know. But no sensible person will say because in the case of Reno, Natasha could not establish a cast iron case that this one didn't happen. If you say that, then you are being unreasonable.
Exactly.
The fact that in the case of Reno was vindicated does not mean that Akpabio will be vindicated. We have not seen the facts. As journalists, we live by facts.
True.
Facts are the oxygen of our craft. I'm not talking about those who are not practicing journalists, who simply sit on TV to analyze and call themselves journalists, who have never done a single story. No, those are not the people that we are talking about. They know themselves. By their suits and their ties, we shall know them.
We can call them cheap ties.
So those are not the people. They don't even know what journalism is. They've not been forged in the fire of journalism. When you have to work, you write stories, somebody is there to check.
Exactly.
They've never
go to the trenches.
They've never taken risks in their lives. That's why they don't even know that merely agreeing to go to a dangerous place, even with policemen and soldiers backing you, is enough courage. It's enough courage because you can experience an ambush.
Exactly.
Soldiers do die in battle.
True.
How many of our soldiers have been ambushed and killed? Even our elite, our own version of the Republican Guard, the Gas Brigade.
Yes.
Were they not ambushed in Abuja and killed? So because somebody has soldiers backing him to go and do a story, does that mean that he cannot be killed?
No, you're not safe.
Does that insulate you against being killed? I mean, these people, I sometimes
just... Asuko, in rounding off now, the image of the Senate as an institution is at stake here. If you're to advise, what would you suggest on how best to handle the situation?
I think the Senate president actually said something, which is let the courts decide.
Let the courts decide.
But now that they have moved the petition to the ethics committee, they'll be able to handle so that they can go back to the normal business, which is to deal with what is happening in Nigeria. That this one is just
a distraction, a major distraction.
And that was what most of the senators that have been saying. They've been saying the Senate rules, the violation of the Senate rules and all that. So now that, they want to follow the Senate rule and they are even doing that.
Exactly.
They have moved it to the ethics committee so that they can go on with the national duties that they are there for. So let's just put this to bed, and we hope the courts will do its work.
Exactly.
See, just listen to what Adara Modu said. Everyone has an opinion on this matter, but we are united by our rules.
Simple.
And that ends it.
Yeah.
So as simple as that.
That ends it. All right.